Hello students, welcome all of you at AriserTalent. How are you all? I hope you are doing absolutely well. So in our previous lecture regarding the acid, base and salt, we have already discussed about the type of the salt. We have discussed the type of the salt on the basis of the formation, that is the method of the formation, and discuss it about on the pH value. So we have already discussed about the normal salts. Now we are moving to our second category, that is acidic salt. But before that, I am drawing a flowchart again of this classification. So we have our topic, that is formation of salt. So these will be the two topics on which the classification of salt is basically based. So on the basis of the process of the formation or on the basis of the pH value. So on the basis of the formation of the salt, we have first category, that is normal salt, that we have already discussed about it. Our second category is acidic salt. Our third category is basic salt. Fourth category is mixed salt. And the last category is double salt. So these will be the basic categories based on the formation of the compound. Now, depending upon the pH value, we have again three categories, that acidic salt, basic salt and the neutral one. So depending upon the pH value, we have again three categories: acidic one, basic one, and the third category will be neutral one. So this is the general classification of the type of the salt based on the basis of the formation and based upon the pH value. Now we have already deal about the normal salt. So now we are moving to our next topic, that what are acidic salt. So our next topic will be acidic salts. Second classification is about acidic salts. Now, what happens in case of the acidic salts? Acidic salts are basically formed when there is a replacement of the hydrogen ion from any polybasic acid or by some acid or by some ammonia. So there will be the replacement of hydronium ion. In case of the acidic salt, there is a replacement of hydrogen ion of polybasic acid by an acid or ammonia. So in this case, there is basically a replacement of hydrogen ion. So now what happens when the acidic salts are basically formed? It means the insufficient amount of base is taken for the formation of the acidic salt. So I am writing the general equation here, so it can be easier to understand this type of salt. So what actually happens in this case? Firstly, we are provided with HCl. Now we are reacting this HCl with NaOH. Now this is our hydrochloric acid, and the NaOH which we have taken will be insufficient in the number. So we have taken insufficient sodium hydroxide. So you can see here we have taken an insufficient hydroxide. So what we will get in the product side? We will get NaHCl. It means we have get a one hydronium ion in this reaction. HCl in presence of insufficient NaOH will give now this will be our acidic salt because insufficient hydroxide we have taken. So NaOH will give NaHCl. So it will be the acidic salt. Now what we are doing in our next step? In our next step we will do further reaction with NaOH to get this particular type of the salt, because in the presence of insufficient sodium hydroxide we have got a acidic salt. Now what we are doing in our next step? In our next step we are reacting this acidic salt again with NaOH. So on reacting, what we will get here? We will get NaCl plus water. So this is the acidic salt and this is our normal salt. Now we are again doing this type of the reaction with H2SO4. So now what I have taken here? I have taken here H2SO4, that is sulfuric acid. By reacting it with insufficient sodium hydroxide, that is NaOH, this will be insufficient. What we will get in the product side? I will get NaHSO4. It means in the presence of insufficient base, we will get the acidic salt. This salt is acidic. Now I have to obtain the normal salt from this equation. So what I will do here? I will further react this type of acid with base. Now this acid will react with this base and we will get Na2SO4 plus H2O. Now in this reaction, this is our acidic salt because H is present here and this is our normal salt. So this will be the normal salt in this case. So in this way, the acidic salts are usually obtained by the replacement of the hydrogen ion from the acid or by the ammonia. We have the variety of acidic salts present in the nature. These salts may be of the sulfuric acid, sulfurous acid, carbonic acid or phosphoric acid. So these are the parent salt and from these salts we can obtain our normal salts. So I am writing the category of the here, but you can copy these equations from here. Now, in the second category of the acidic salt, we have different type of salts. So here we are writing the parent salt and with the parent salt we have our normal salts, or we can say that acidic salt. Now we have our first category. Our first category will be sulfuric acid. So for the sulfuric acid, we have a formula H2SO4. So the acidic salt obtained in this category will be, the first salt we can obtain is NaHSO4, KHSO4, CaHSO4 whole twice. So these will be the acidic salt we can obtain from the sulfuric acid. Now we have our second category. Our second category will be the sulfurous acid. So for the sulfurous acid, we have a general formula that is H2SO3. So similarly, for the sodium, potassium, calcium and many of the more metals, we can obtain the acidic salt as follows. Now, this will be NaHSO3, KHSO3, we have CaHSO3 whole twice. So, this will be the general formulas or the general salts we can obtain from the sulfurous acid. Now, we are moving to our third category. Our third category will be the carbonic acid. Carbonic acid is a parent salt having a general formula H2CO3. This is actually the carbonic acid. So, from this carbonic acid, we will get NaHCO3, KHCO3. We can also get CaHCO3 whole twice. So, these are the general acids that are parent acids and we can obtain the acidic salts from this equation as follows. So, this will be the category of the acidic salts. Now, after discussing about the normal salts and the acidic salts, we have our next category that is our basic salts. Now, the next category that is our basic salts. Now, what is basic salts are? So, basic salts are those salts which are actually formed by the replacement of one hydroxyl group from the salt solution. So, how they are formed? They are formed by the replacement of one hydroxyl group. Okay, and what is the hydroxyl group? That is our OH group. So, these type of salt are formed when there is a replacement of one hydroxyl group. Let us understand this with the help of a very simple example. Let us suppose I am reacting PbOH whole twice with HCl. Now, PbOH whole twice is a base, that is lead hydroxide. This is our base. Now, we are reacting it with the acid because acid plus base is going to give you the salt. So, this is our hydrochloric acid. Now, what is going to be happen in this reaction? Whenever you are reacting the lead hydroxide with the hydrochloric acid, you will get a partial salt in this category. So, what is the partial salt? You will get here PbOHCl. So, this salt you are obtaining here is not a complete salt. Actually, this is the partial salt in this equation. This is the partial basic salt. But if I want to obtain the complete salt, that is lead chloride, what I have to do? I have to react this salt again with one group of HCl. So, what I am doing here? I am taking PbOHCl, which is our partial salt, and I am reacting again this reaction with one more HCl. So, whenever you are reacting this with one more HCl, you will get PbCl2, that is PbCl2, that is the lead chloride salt, and along with that you will get the water from this reaction, because acid and base, whenever they are combining, they will give you a salt along with water. So, in the first step, what you have observed that we are getting the partial salt on reacting it with one molecule of HCl. But if I am again reacting it one mole of HCl, I am getting the complete salt in this equation, and this complete salt is actually the lead chloride we have. Okay, so this is about the basic salt. Now, after acidic salt, basic salt, we have our third category that is known as the double salt. Okay, so the next thing is about the double salts. Now, what is double salt? As the name indicates, double salt are actually the salt that are formed by the crystallization of the two salt. So whenever you do the crystallization of the two salt, you will get the double salt. So what is double salt? The salts which are formed by crystallization of two salts. Now, have you heard the term alum? Alum is a type of the salt. The alum we have is used for cleaning of water. This is alum. Now, this alum is what? This is actually our double salt, and its formula is K2SO4 Al2SO4 whole thrice dot 24H2O. So you can see that there are two salts present. Okay, so one salt is the potassium salt, that is K2SO4. Another salt is aluminium salt, that is Al2SO4 whole thrice, and along with the water of crystallization present here. Okay, so this is the water of crystallization present here, that is 24H2O. So this is an example of double salt you have. Double means there are two type of the salts which are actually present here, and this is the formula of alum we have, and you can also say it as a potash alum. This is what? This is actually the potash alum. Okay. Now, after double salt, we have the last category of salt, that is known as the mixed salt. Now, what are mixed salt? Next category we have is the mixed salts. Now, the mixed salts are actually the salts which are formed whenever there are two kind of the radicals present in any particular salt. So, these salts are formed by the combination of more than one type of radical. If in any type of the salt you have more than one type of the radical group, you can say that this is our mixed salt. Okay, now let me take an example here so it becomes very clear to you that what actually the mixed salt are. Suppose I am taking an example here, CaK2 NaK2SO4. So you can see that there are two radical group present here. One is the sodium, another is the potassium. So sodium potassium sulfate, this is the name of the salt, that is sodium potassium sulfate. So this sodium potassium sulfate, students, is actually the example of the mixed salt. You can see here that there are two radical group present in this particular type of the salt. So I hope this has been clear to you that how the salt are categorized in the different category. So we have one acidic salt, second is the basic salt, we have the neutral salts also, and we have the mixed and double salt. So now our next topic will be the type of the salts based on the pH values that we will continue in our next lecture. So this lecture is all over here. Thank you so much and have a great day.